Hello, everyone, and welcome to our session today with Calumo. We have Richard Pedigo joining us, and he is going to be doing a demonstration with us today on predicting, shape, and achieve, making BI easy and practical. And before I pass it over to Richard, I would just like to remind you that we are recording this session and it will be posted to our on-demand webinar library for you to review and share with anyone. And as always, if you do have any questions, please feel free to type those into the questions box, and during the end of our session we will have a Q&A time and we can get those addressed. And so now I'm going to pass it on to Richard to kick off our presentation.
Thank you very much, Angie. I appreciate the opportunity to meet with everyone. We have a very nice crowd. Thank you for setting this up. I am the Vice President of Alliances for Calumo, and I manage the relationships with our strategic partners. And so today we will be discussing the concepts of business intelligence and how corporate performance management fits into the definition of business intelligence. In the marketplace today, BI is a broadly used term. Some people look at it as business analytics from a predictive point of view. Some people are referring to it only as data visualization. When you go out in the marketplace and look at the various market research firms and what their definitions are, they really boil it down to four very important components. First is creating a common base of data. So creating a data warehouse with OLAP Cubes for performance, where you can automatically collect and consolidate and manage a base of information that not only represents the information coming out of an ERP or accounting package, but virtually any information across the entire enterprise, regardless of size, that would be necessary to properly make data-driven decisions for the company. Also, the fact going beyond just data visualization, but automating reporting, budgeting, and forecasting. In the world today, this is often referred to as digital automation, a part of digital automation, to where you are in fact automating processes that today perhaps use a multitude of products or very manual, some of which are riddled with risk and very, very time consuming. And also the fact of being able to have self-guided or guided analytics. So not just getting static reports, but being able to drill down, drill through information to get down to the baseline data, transactional data, root cause data, to where you can really make business decisions that will assist from a pure information point of view. Oftentimes, being able to do this requires a separate tool or running additional reports. And then data visualization. Data visualization is an important part of business intelligence. Products like Power BI, Tableau, Click, very, very powerful tools in the market today. And those tools can generally connect, bringing all of this information together in a single solution called corporate performance management. So let's take a look at the challenges that face users today. I've been doing this a long time. I work for Ernst & Young on the consulting services side. I was a partner, and we were doing lots of deployments over several years with medium to large size corporations. And the common thread that was across all of these companies was executives and business decision makers saying they couldn't get information out of their current systems to effectively run the company. They had too many versions of the truth. They had siloed systems. They had legacy reporting solutions, some of which you would use this, that, or the other thing to get information depending upon which system you were trying to access. And managing these processes was really manual. Everything was about people and processes and taking a great deal of time. And the goal was to find this ability to centralize the corporate data to where you did have a single version of the truth, and that the capabilities would be fast and easy to use. You don't want a situation where you have steep learning curves, because you want non-IT people to capitalize upon what they already know. For instance, Office, and specifically Excel, and being able to present the information in a web-based form, both on a PC or any mobile device that would be out there. And so corporate performance management customers really see radical and drastic changes in the way in which information can be made available, reducing burden on accounting and finance and IT, because many times the products that companies use require a great deal of technical expertise, reducing errors and risk to where the confidence level in the information goes way up, and reducing the amount of manual processing that needs to be done, and also improving budgeting and reporting timeframes. A lot of times people at the end of a period, they have a huge reporting burden placed upon them, and being able to automate these processes really significantly improves quality of work as well as quality of information. So from a graphical representation, this is kind of what it looks like. You have multiple data sources. You have information coming in from perhaps multiple companies, multiple entities, disparate ERP systems in a lot of companies. They don't run common systems across everywhere. Or you just have your ERP system, and then perhaps you have a HRMS system or a payroll system, inventory systems, other systems that are out there, and trying to bring all this data together in a way that can make sense to where you can in fact get quality reports is a manual process and very difficult. You also have a lot of different tools. Microsoft, we have FRX, believe it or not, people are still using it. Management Reporter, the advancements in Management Reporter by Microsoft have been announced that they're not going forward, only bug fix. Forecaster, which is also a product still in use but out of date. SQL Reporting Services, which is really a very, very technical product and by most companies run by IT. And then you have the most commonly used system of all, and that's Excel. So then you have, once you have the information that you need, how do you get it out to your users? Because your users have very limited access to this information. Either they have to be on the corporate network, or perhaps it's sent to them via email and it's totally static, or it's sent out to SharePoint or a file share. But all this information is really hard to gain access to. And then if they can't drill down and need additional information, you're right back to the information cycle flow again. So with corporate performance management, and it really changes things. With a centralized data warehouse where you can bring in literally any data from any source, you're now able to put together an entire enterprise picture of all the information that the company needs to effectively run various functions and operations. You have the unlimited availability of having data, not just general ledger, but subledger, sales information coming in from a Salesforce automation, payroll, HR, budgets, whatever it might be, can be brought in to the data warehouse and made available into a single solution. And then presentation layer, the user access, can be, in most cases today, through a web portal. So therefore, information can be presented to users 24/7, fully secure, anywhere, anytime their device has access to an internet browser. And so now the whole paradigm in which information is brought together, processed, and presented is changed in a highly automated fashion, providing a great deal of increased productivity and information availability. So what I'd like to do now is I would like to go out and show you Columo, which is a corporate performance management tool for reporting, budgeting, forecasting, data visualization, and business intelligence. So what I have here is an example in our demo system of what a end user landing page might look like. So here we have a combination of tabular data, and within this data, I have the ability through Columo to determine what the source was. It's the income statement. I have the ability to have graphics, which are dynamic, unlike an Excel spreadsheet where they're static. I can also drill down in these graphics and be able to see additional information. I have charts and graphs that are dynamic, so I can visually get information that I need at my fingertips. I have the ability to add comments. With Columo, you can add comments to reports, forecasts, budgets, anything along the line, so that if you wish to collaborate or elaborate, if you will, on a particular item, you're able to do that without having to send emails back and forth, and their history is tracked. We also have within our budgeting system, we also have the ability to have a workflow. And so this is the one we're going to be using. I've changed it to not started. So with Olympic, Pat Allen, you can see that I just changed it to not started. But we use, since we are an Excel add-in, we can do conditional formatting. And the update or the report is due tomorrow, the 26th. Also, there's a note here. It says, please see notes, and that's when we actually get to the budget template. And so I'll remind you of what that will be when we get to that particular point. So let's start by taking a look at a few dashboards. With all the dashboards I'm going to show you are built using the Columo graphics design tool. And the graphics design tool is very nice. It's all interactive. It's simple to use. But if you wish to use Power BI or Tableau or another graphics design tool, because our data warehouse is built on SQL analysis services, you automatically can connect any design tool, graphical tool, to our data warehouse for complete access to information. So in this example, we have where we can show various periods, and it's all interactive. I can choose between my product lines. I can look for only, in this case, a particular product line. And so this can be displayed on virtually any device that can connect to the internet. Here I have an example of a different type of graph. And I was mentioning where you had guided analytics as part of a complete business intelligence capability. Here I'm going from a graph or from a dashboard. I'm going to drill through. So now what I'm doing is I'm looking at that source data, and now I'm coming down to the income statement for that period. So now I have an income statement. Again, it's fully interactive. So I can drill down and explore additional information. I can take it further and drill down and look at the contents associated with that particular line item. I can then slice and dice this information as I see fit. And so I can move it around and analyze it. I can report in native currency, or I can report in a common currency, all US dollars. We handle currency conversion. I can also come in and do a different type of analysis. You'll notice here that I have a variance for this month of $10,000. So if I wish to interrogate that further, I can go in and really slice the information and drill down to the root cause of that variance. So I can drop down on my scenario and I can look at my budget variance, which was 10,000. I can expand it out to see where the variance is. I can then go in and look at various operations that I can pick. I'm going to stick with corporate, or I can look at various departments. Let's say that I'm responsible for U.S. operations. So I can now interrogate each one of these operations. And I find that the major contributor to this is the Northwest Division, that their salaries are out of alignment, causing additional expenses in taxes and employee benefits. So now I can have a meeting with those individuals to explore further what the cause is and why we're so much over budget for this one particular month. All of that being able to be driven from a dashboard. So all of these dashboards, as I pointed out, were built using the Columo graphics design tool. So we can also get down and take a look at analysis that might drive additional business decisions. For instance, if I were a retail organization, I can see here that my TVs are my number 3 quantity, but driving a great deal of revenue. And I'm thinking about possibly dropping an older technology for plasma TVs. But before I do that, perhaps I should explore where my plasma TVs are being purchased. So who are my major customers? I can see that the customer is Waterfall Hotels. And so now I can see exactly what the quantity that they're buying and the volume that they're spending. And so before I make a business decision to drop plasma TVs from my retail offering, I should probably set up a meeting with Waterfall Hotel and determine their business plans. And perhaps they're right in the process of upgrading to a more modern technology. So all of these capabilities are available to support business decisions that are really data-driven and giving you the ability from a visual point of view to take a look at being able to drill down and really analyze information visually or transfer over and drill down to the root cause. So now I'm going to change gears and go in to show some financial reports. So financial reporting, the templates are designed using the Columo Excel add-in. So everything that you see here has been designed originally using Excel, and I'm actually going to design a report here in a short period of time. But so there's no limit to the type of reports that you will be able to design or the calculations that you will be able to put in. You can use full Excel capabilities. In this case, we're building KPIs based on graphics. You'll see here that we had the opportunity to add a comment. If I want to look at the history of the comments, I can do that as well. And so I now have the ability to really go through, design virtually any type of report showing, doing comparisons of actuals to previous periods, my variances, being able to change periods and look at a variety of information. All of this built in as standard functionality within Columo, so you don't have to have people coming back and asking questions. Well, you know, how are we comparing to the previous period that we had last year? And so all of that is available with complete drill down, as I showed you before, to where now end users can just pull up information, analyze it, slice and dice it to their heart's content. We also have the capability to take a look at income by month, cash flow, balance sheets, whatever it is that you would want to be able to do. Would only be two limitations. Number one, the data model that we build, we would need to ensure as we're going through the requirements analysis that we put together the correct information coming into the data warehouse. And then it's based upon the needs of the company and the ability of a person to design things in Excel, which everybody in finance and accounting have years and years of experience doing. So now let's take a look at planning. A big factor in planning is that most people today don't have a forecasting or budgeting solution, and they use Excel. So they create Excel spreadsheets. They create situations where they pass around Excel spreadsheets to various people. The information comes back. It has to be manually consolidated. And so what I'm going to show you now is a way in which the entire budgeting forecasting process can be automated. So this could be a template that would be created and sent out to department heads. In this case, it was going to be sent out to the Olympic department. And as you recall, I changed it to not started. And so when the person first gets notification of a budget template awaiting input, it would end up as being not started. When it is worked upon, it moves to in progress. And then when it's done, it would be submitted. When it's submitted, the individual that is filling out the information, the input form is locked. And so they can no longer make any changes to it. And if it is in fact, then notification is sent for approval. If it's rejected, it comes back to the individual. The notes can be added. And then you collaborate back and forth until everything gets its final approval and a complete consolidated budget is put in place. So recall on the previous workflow, it said see notes. So in this section of the forecast, we have a request to use last year's actuals for this year's budget. So let's take a look at a couple of items. Let's first start out with taking a look at a revenue forecast. So in this particular example, we are going to be forecasting units. So here I have my forecast of the units that are going to be sold over this period of time. Then down here, it'll calculate my revenue, my cost of goods, and my profit. So, and there are several ways I can enter information in. So let's say that I'm going to, over the course of the year, I'm going to sell 12,000 of these. I would update my input form and it would automatically spread the 1,000 a month across the periods. It would also calculate the associated revenues. And then what I would have is, let's say here I would have in November and December, I'm going to have a sale and we're anticipating we're going to sell 4,000 of those. I want to spread that evenly, update that, and so on and so forth. So we can go through and then everything gets updated. And of course, now in the middle of the demo, for some reason, it's not updating the sheet, which is unfortunate. But all right, sorry about that. Hopefully the rest of the budget planning will go well. Let me make sure that my price and cost control sheet are in place. But that is the reason for it. The cost control, the unit cost and sales volume, it needs to be updated. And that's the reason why that part is not working. I apologize for that. So now let's go down, and this is a consolidated sheet addressing multiple areas of forecasting. Let's go in and do some payroll planning. So in the payroll planning, I now have the capability to come in, and as a department head, these are the people and positions that have been allocated for this budget period, which is a year. And so I'm going to show you how you can enter in several different ways, the information. So for Mike, I know Mike is a full-time employee, will be on board for the entire year. So I am going to put that value in. I'm going to update it. And now all the information will be updated for Mike as a full-time employee. And you'll notice down here that now all of my sick leave, my training, retirement, 401k, all those types of things are calculated for that individual. And the information is spread across several areas. So here I can go in with Kim. I can add the salary manually as one way of doing it. So Kim's salary is going to be $140,000. And so I can update that. And as I update that, it goes through and will automatically spread Kim's salary across the period. And you'll notice that it also updated all of the information accordingly. I can also go in and say that Kim is doing a great job. And so there's going to be an end of year bonus of $2,000. I can update that, and it will now apply the bonus to Kim and update her salary. I could also go in and show that not only is Kim going to get a bonus, but starting in January, I'm going to give Kim, I'm going to budget for a 10% increase in her salary. And so now I have bumped that up, and you'll notice that starting in January, all my cost structures have changed. Her salary is now at $249,000 with bonus. And so it's very simple for me to go through and plan for all of these changes. I could also come in and do, let's say that the inventory and freight manager is not going to start until January. And so I could go in and assign that particular headcount for budget purposes to be effective for that date. And it will go through and allocate the individual. And you'll notice that in January, we now bumped everything up again. I could put in a single month. I could put just a one, and it would now allocate that individual as an FTE for that month. And it would also properly calculate the salary that I'm going to be budgeting over this period of time. So when this is all done, I would come back to my consolidated plan. And because everything is written to the database or to the data warehouse in real time, all this information is now available back to this input form. So now come back here, and as you recall, on my expenses, I'm supposed to use last year's actuals as this year's budget. So I open up and I have my line item detail here. So I can go in and let's say that for my conference advertising, I'm going to be spending $24,000 over the course of the year. I come in, and when I enter this form or this amount using last year as my spreading method, and I can pick any spreading method, not just restricted to these, you'll see that the allocation of expense across the period is based on the last year's actuals. And that's nothing I had to go in and do a calculation on. It is because I've captured all that information in my data warehouse. I can come in and have something be, for instance, training. Perhaps I'm going to do company training on a quarterly basis. So we have HR. We're going to be allocating $8,000 for the company training on a quarterly basis, and the system is smart enough to know that based upon your allocation, it has now spread the budget across the quarterly training. Also note that here, this was my last year's actuals. and then this is this year's number remaining. So as I work through this, I can stay within my budget limitations. I can add line item details to each one of these items as I'm going through the process. And so this gives me full capability to manage to a number, and I can add my notes over on the side as you've seen that I've done in the past. And now when I come in and I hit submit and update that, just want to demonstrate that in fact the Excel spreadsheet, or the input form, not Excel spreadsheet, it was designed in Excel, that the input form is now locked. So if I go in here and try to enter a number, I'll put in $2,000 and I'll put update, I will get an error message that will tell me that I am not allowed to input this information. Okay, as it's going through, right back error detected. I'm not allowed to do that. So now I've got complete protection of my budget form. Okay, so now there are virtually any types of budgets and forecasts that we can produce. We can produce rolling forecasts, which a lot of companies want to be able to do, to where you're able to see forecasts against actuals and be able to manage against a rolling period of time. You can drill down on individual line items. So I could come in here and drill down and see what the underlying detail is for that particular line item in the rolling forecast. So all of this information is available at my fingertips because everything is in the data warehouse and it is all dynamic. So having shown you a variety of things, I've shown you the dashboarding, some financial reporting, the planning, and I should probably close. Yeah, there we go. Sorry, I forgot to shut off my email. Financial reporting, planning, we have all these various capabilities all built in to the system to where it's presented to the user virtually in any format that they wish. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come over and I'm going to actually design a report. I'm using Office 365 and I'm now in Excel, and it's just standard Excel. We don't take anything away from Excel. What we do is we add the Columo tab with the functionality that we bring to Excel. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to hit browse. It's going to take me out to Columo, the instance, and now I'm going to be able to start to design a report. So this, as I'm in designer report mode now, these are recent reports and things that I have available to me, but I'm going to go to data. And by picking data, I'm going to pick the information that I wish to work with in creating a report. I just clicked on the finance cube. So now I have my grid. This, some people might refer to it as a palette. And over here I have my measures and dimensions. So let me expand this. I'm going to expand out fiscal year. My slicers is where I'm going to drag and drop my drop downs. So I'm going to start out with fiscal year first, then go to department, organization, and scenario. On my periods, I'm going to pick a period right up front. I want to work with 2006 data. Over on my rows, I'm going to bring over my natural accounts. And on my columns, I'm going to bring over my month of year. So now I have attached all the information that I wish to work with. I've defined it. I can come in here and look at sub-ledger information. I can organize things differently. I can put my net income at the bottom. I can expand this out and take a look at a variety of capabilities. But for my demonstration purposes of moving to Excel, I'm going to roll this up. So now this is the real magic. So I come over to Excel and I hit here, send to Excel. And so now what I've done is I have just connected Excel to the Columo system and the data warehouse. And in so doing, I have now presented the information in the Excel spreadsheet that I had selected in the data section of Columo. And now it's all dynamic. So now I can go down, I can drill into these individual things, expand them out. And what I'm going to do is relatively simple and straightforward, just formatting, variety of things. Perhaps you're using a web-based travel expense system. Maybe you're using a marketing automation tool like Marketo to capture your cost. So now I'm going to come in here. I'm going to bold my net income. I'm going to come in and I'll bold and center this. I'll come in, put a title on this. Sample report. I want to center that as well. Maybe bold it, increase the font size. I can do anything with the contents of these cells that I wish in Excel. So if I want to add a new tab, I can do that. I can change formulas here. I can do virtually anything that you can do in Excel because I am in Excel. So I come back over to the Columo tab, and now I have the report set up exactly the way that I want it. And now I want to publish it. So I can publish public, which means that every user of Columo will have access to this report, or I can publish private. If I publish private, I can send it to a person, a group, or a department. All of this within the Columo system is protected by complete security. We use Active Directory as our initial authentication, and then we have the ability to build a security profile at the individual level, detailing the information that they are available to see, and that's all done within the administrative capabilities of Columo. But before I publish the report, I want to show you how I can represent the same data using the Columo graphics design tool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go out and pick the same cube that I did before, the finance cube, which is this one. The paradigm is exactly the same for building a template or a dashboard. So here I'm going to do the same information. So I'm going to roll out fiscal year. I'm going to attach department, organization, and scenario. I'm going to bring over my natural accounts and my rows, and I'm going to bring over month of year in my columns. Okay? I just built a dashboard. All the dashboards I've shown you previously have been designed using this tool, and now you'll notice without doing any special graphics, it's not static. These are all now dynamic. So I can now drill down. I can slice and dice the information. I can reformat it to my desire. And so a person very simply can put together very nice presentation quality graphics and publish them the same way that I'm going to show you how to publish the report. So now I'm going to publish the report private. So it's, what's going on? Come on, publish my report. Okay, let's not publish my report. Let's come into Columo again. Okay. Perhaps I need to, I'm going to do something here. I'm going to close. I'm not going to save. I'm going to restart. I apologize for this. I'm going to restart Excel. Something happened with my connection back to between Columo and Excel, probably from a previous demo that I did this morning. I'm going to open Excel. This is how you connect. I come in and I connect to Columo. I now come back to my send to Excel. I will open this again. It's doing my connection, my calculations. You saw how I could operate independently before. So I'm just going to now do some expansion and a little bit of editing as we go through this, because all I really want to show you now is the capability of being able to publish the information back to the web portal. Okay, so having done this, I am now going to publish private. Okay, I apologize for the error before, but now the report is now published private, and exactly as I had it set up before, it is now here. I can now come in, I can expand these items just as I did before, because the report is fully dynamic. If a person wanted to look at budget, if they wanted to look at being able to do a budget variance, all of this is capable right from the individual report. So you don't have to run a different report. You don't have to have a different tab. If I wanted to drill down into the detail information, I don't have to do anything special. It was automatically set up for me in the creation of the report, because it is part of the normal Columo functionality. So here I now have my report that I created in the Excel spreadsheet. So what have I done? Well, I came in and I picked the data that I was going to work with. I then published that to Excel. In Excel, I was able to format the data. Once it was formatted, I was then able to publish the information and put it back out to the Columo web portal, where through the web portal under complete security, an individual would be able to see this information. They would be able to do all the things that they would be authorized to do and be able to see the information, change the format, look at a wide variety of things under complete security. So that brings me back to my PowerPoint presentation. So before I was showing that without a data warehouse, you would not have the availability to build or have access to all of this information. With the data warehouse, we have the ability to bring in data from virtually any source, including spreadsheets and manual input data, Google Analytics, marketing information. The system is identical, whether it's being run on-premise or in the Azure cloud. The system I showed you has the capability of having an Excel add-in to where we connect Excel to the data warehouse. And so we're making Excel database driven. What I didn't show you is the capability to take the output from Columo and embed it in a Word document or a PowerPoint presentation. So if perhaps you have an executive briefing book or a board book, a quarterly report that would need to go out, you can embed the information in either a Word document or PowerPoint presentation, and it's dynamically linked back to the Columo system. So once you built these reports or presentations, if you wish to update the information, all you have to do is hit update here. It will automatically pull the current information from the data warehouse and repopulate the contents in the Word document or the PowerPoint. So no more spending hours and hours and hours cutting and pasting information from Excel and putting it into a document. From a presentation layer, any device that can gain access to the internet has under complete security, has complete access to everything I've shown, including mobile devices. And there's no limit to the types of output that you, in fact, can create. And we can do reporting, budgeting, forecasting, ad hoc analysis, self-guided analytics, scoreboards, dashboards. Everything is in one system. On our price sheet, we only have 3 line items. We have Columo, the product. We have a power user, the designer. And we have an end user, the person that can do everything but design and administer the system. So in most environments today, you have the capability using some of the tools that I had described earlier, like Management Reporter, to figure out what happened. But generally, that's only against your ERP solution. So what if you want to figure out from a data analysis point of view at the enterprise level, all the information that is available to the company to make data-driven decisions? And what is the impact of that information on the decisions that need to be made within the company? And how can you model it? Like, for instance, what if you have a situation where sales for a particular period are 100% higher than forecast? So the sales department's very happy, but what about the people that have to fulfill those sales? What's going to happen based upon that information? Maybe you don't have enough inventory. Maybe if you're a manufacturing company, you're going to have to go out and order supplies at a higher price to fulfill needs. What are you going to do next? All these decisions are part of what's called the business intelligence value curve, which a corporate performance analysis solution like Columo can bring to you. Additionally, all companies have a variety of users. They may not have these specific titles, but a business user generally has a specific role and they need specific information to do their job. An accounts payable clerk, accounts receivable clerk. But when you look at a person that is in doing strategic planning or budgeting, or the CFO who needs to have deeper analysis of what's going on in the company from a totality point of view, not just the financials. Now, all of a sudden, you have these additional functional areas that need to be addressed. And with a corporate performance management solution like Columo, you can address all of these needs because the base of information that you're reporting on is broader and complete. So what's our goal? So our goal is really to drive financial as well as operational information across the entire company so that we're getting the right information to the right people at the right time. And by doing so, we're driving the ability to make data-driven decisions. That is where all the business books, all the analysts, everybody is out there today saying data is driving the decisions within corporations today, and you need to be able to expand your ability to capture the right information at the right time to be able to make those decisions. And it needs to be in a way that is intuitive, not hard. If it needs to be graphically displayed, great. We have the capability to do that. If you want to work in Excel and in spreadsheets and have drill down capabilities and be able to display that information in a web browser on a mobile device, we can do that. And you want it to be fast. I think that what we're able to show today with most of the things, a couple of glitches in the demo, I apologize, that by the way in which our system is architected and our data warehouse is built, we are extremely fast. We have replaced several products out in the market because of not only lack of functionality, because they can't do what the company needs to have done, but they're slow, and in some cases 100 times slower. We're also not verticalized. We address the needs of virtually any type of industry. With the companies that we have major corporations that use our product with thousands and thousands of users globally, as well as companies that have one or two users. We have across all verticals and all types of information, because the way in which our product is architected, it is really agnostic to any type of ERP or source of data, because of the way we can bring data in from virtually any source. So in so doing, we're able to have some fantastic results and commentary from our customers, like saving huge amounts of time, being able to bring budgeting to department heads, which this company had never done before, being able to do financial reporting and consolidations across multiple, in this case, multiple franchises in literally a matter of seconds, where before it was taking them 2.5 hours to run their monthly consolidation reports. And I love this from Sizzling Platter. With Columo, the sky is the limit. So not only are customers saying nice things, but also there's a company in Switzerland that is a marketing research firm called BARC. They run the largest business intelligence survey on the planet. They look at everybody. And every year that we participated, the last 4 years, the 19 reports just about out, we have topped the market in 11 particular areas or leader in 10 specific categories. And really important things: business benefit and price value, product and customer satisfaction, cloud and mobile, BI, competitiveness and completion of product. All these things which are really key to making sure that from an implementation and usage point of view, you've picked the right product. So the takeaways from today, and I hope that I have demonstrated this to you, is that Columo is really a flexible and easy to use system. You have availability of virtually all information. You're using common tools, Excel, that in the design of templates, and you're able to do these things very efficiently. And we're able to provide a real transformation of your reporting, forecasting, and budgeting processes by automating these processes and being able to produce this information and make it available to people literally 24/7 anywhere that they are on the planet. And that we have the data warehouse. And this is foundational to really having a successful corporate performance management or BI system. The data warehouse will automatically bring in and consolidate all this information and make it available automatically with refresh at your need. Refresh it once a minute, once an hour, once a day, whatever it is that you need, that information is going to be made available to you. And it's an all-in-one suite. It's not something that you have to buy this module and that module and this kind of user or that kind of user. So I hope that you understand the advantages of corporate performance management and how business intelligence can be very, very simple to use and implement throughout the entire corporation. So if there are questions, I'd like to open it up for questions now. And so Angie.
Thank you, Richard. Yes, we do have a few questions. Does Columo work with all versions of Dynamics Nav?
It does. And yes, it does, as well as Business Central.
Okay, thank you. And does Columo have the ability to work with Power BI?
Yes, because of the way the data warehouse is architected, it will work with Power BI and any other data visualization tool.
Okay. And What about working with Office 365, Dynamics 365?
Yes, Dynamics 365, both versions, as well as Office 365. The demonstration I did today, I'm operating in Office 365.
Okay. And are there any internet browsers that Columo will not work with?
No, there aren't any internet browsers. We have some preferences. Microsoft Edge, Chrome are two of the most popular browsers that our customers use. They're also, the direction that Microsoft is going in with Edge with a lot of its other products. But no, yeah, we support them all.
All right. Well, thank you, Richard. It appears that those are all of the questions that we have for you today. If anyone
Okay.
has any additional questions, you may feel free to contact Richard or your account rep at Innovia Consulting.
Right. Also, I'd like to announce that we are having for Q4, we are having a special offer to take the risk out of selecting Columo, and we're offering a 50% discount on our pilot program. Our pilot program includes 40 hours of consulting services, a month's usage of Columo for up to 10 people. It also, during those 40 hours, we will build a data warehouse, we'll build customized reports, and provide training to the end users. So this is a program that has had tremendous adoption and success in the past, and we would like to extend this offer to the Innovia people that would be interested in exploring Columo further as we move into Q4. And you could also, if you want to learn more about Columo, you can go to our website. And also on the website, if you would like to download the BARC Business Intelligence Survey, it's available for immediate download. So Angie, I want to thank you and the attendees for your attention today and investing the time with me so that I could show our corporate performance management product. Thank you.
All right. And we thank you, Richard. And I just want to let everybody know that we do have a few more webinars coming soon. Next Tuesday, October 1st. Can you believe it's October already? We have Whit Lester from Nav Payroll presenting on D365 US Payroll Introduction. And also next week, October 3rd, Innovia will be having a webinar for those who want to know more about NAVUG Summit. We encourage you to come to this session and we will answer any questions you have and help you get the most out of your summit experience. And to add to that, Innovia is proud to be a platinum sponsor of BCUG NAVUG Summit in Orlando, Florida this year. This conference is fast approaching, October 13th through the 18th. If you haven't already registered or you want more information about Summit, check out our conference page on our website, and that's innovia.com/conferences, or attend our webinar on Summit that I just mentioned. And check out our website for more of our upcoming events, and that's innovia.com/events. We also want to mention we have our new podcast going on. If you haven't heard of it already, it's called the Innovia Conversation. You can find out about all the different podcast platforms to listen to on our podcast page, and that's innovia.com/podcast. So check out the podcast selection and subscribe so you get notified on all of our new episodes that air. All right. Well, again, thank you everyone for joining us, or if you're watching on demand, thank you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you again soon on another Innovia webinar.